I can guarantee that you've seen too much of the inside of your house this year, and the likelihood of getting on a plane or even wanting to do so is slim to none. That means the old-fashioned road trip is back. But before you go packing, do one thing for me. Leave your Esky empty. Jeep has teamed up with the non-for-profit Empty Esky. The idea? Get everyone to travel down to a fire-affected region and fill up one of these with local produce. In a bid to help local businesses, Empty Esky has put together a website where you can plan a road trip. Suggested itineraries can take you to the Great Ocean Road, Blue Mountains, or in this case, the New South Wales South Coast. With a few clicks, you can easily plan places to stay, have a feed, and a shop. There are over 700 businesses that have registered throughout Australia, so there's plenty to choose from. Our journey started in North Sydney and will take my wife Jackie and I down the Hume Highway, through the historic village town of Berrima, drop past Mossvale and finish in Nowra for our first night. We are taking CarAdvice's long-term Jeep Compass in base Night Eagle specification as our road trip vehicle for the weekend. First stop, the Gumnut Patisserie in Berrima. The chain of cafe bakeries is a personal favourite of mine in the Southern Highlands. Then one of the first picks on our itinerary, the Little Hand-Stirred Jam Shop, with a plethora of honeys, sauces and jams. It's easy to fill the Esky when everything looks delicious. But Empty Esky isn't just about food. It's also about putting much needed funds back into the local economy. That's why my hair is long, the car is dirty and almost out of petrol. After filling up in Barrel, it's time for a haircut in Mossvale. Hearing that business was finally picking up after coronavirus restrictions were lifted. We shopped down Mossvale's main road to get to giftware store Neston Borough, meeting owner Jackie, who told us of the challenges facing independent businesses after the worst bushfire season in recent history and coronavirus.
So the coronavirus and the bushfires affected our business by forcing us to close, particularly in the bushfire season. We live in Bundanoon, and so we were evacuated a few times from there. The town here was full of smoke, and so there was nobody shopping, there was no one out, and people were afraid to travel. So business was severely impacted, but then we also had to close due to the proximity of the fires. We sort of just got back into the rhythm of reopening again, and then the coronavirus hit. On the 30th of March, we followed the government guidelines. They requested us to all only do essential things, so we closed this business, and so we closed for 9 weeks. And so we reopened on the 30th of May, and since then, business has been busy. So lots and lots of people have been travelling to come, particularly with Empty Esky, Buy from the Bush campaigns, and particularly with the bushfire campaign. Just as it was gaining momentum, it stopped with coronavirus. So I think a lot of people, after they'd been locked down like us for the 9 weeks, were pretty keen to get out. So we've been very well supported. Our current hope for the future is to grow into Christmas. We have our most important season of the year coming up. We have our Christmas trees and decorations coming in, and so we really encourage people as much as possible to come and continue supporting us, because this is where we set ourselves up for what may or may not happen next year. So for people travelling from Sydney, Canberra, the coast, we really encourage people to try and support all the shops in Mossvale. We're all local family-owned businesses. We don't have franchises here. We are all working really hard in our own businesses to encourage people to buy what we have, to support as much as you can and take as much away from here that's unique and different as possible.
Leaving town, we take Mossvale Road that snakes its way through Kangaroo Valley. It's the quintessential Scenic Drive, and I highly recommend it. The following day we disembark for the coastal town of Mollymook via Milton, with our first stop to get the compass clean at South Nowra Car Wash. From the Princess Highway we detour to Conjar Lake, a small town that is almost unrecognisable from before the fires. Construction sites and for sale signs litter the area, as you can see the fire's indiscriminate charred brushstrokes of destruction through the little suburb. A sobering reminder of the purpose of our trip, which is to do our little bit to buy from the local community. Visiting the small town of Milton, we pick up some dinner supplies and then head to Mollymook Beach, a short drive away. Home to the Pam Burridge Surf School, the picturesque beach was a beautiful way to spend the afternoon, before making our way back up to our accommodation to enjoy the fruits, or in this case, beer and cheese, of our labour. So how did the compass fare for a weekend road trip option? Well, on the highway we saw the fuel readings dip in the low 8s, before levelling out at 9.4 litres per 100 kilometres for the weekend. As for long hours behind the wheel, well, the seats are actually quite comfy and there's nice soft touch material here on either side for those people with lazy elbows. Guilty. We've had the music pumping all weekend and the standard 6-speaker sound system is everything you need for a country road trip. The dual pane panoramic sunroof really does open up the cabin and it's let us enjoy the scenery. At $1,950, it's definitely an optional extras box I would be ticking. If you want to see the full review of the Jeep Compass Night Eagle, hit the pop-up banner up here. With the holidays close, I encourage everyone to enjoy the beautiful country we live in. Plan a trip or even just a detour to a fire-affected area, because every little bit can help. If you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, hit that thumbs up button and please consider subscribing. Head to emptyesky.com.au now and start planning your itinerary. And if you know a local fire-affected business, encourage them to register. Now it's time to grab your keys and don't forget your Esky.